Hello, my little burritos. Welcome back. Okay, so during the break, I went out to the kitchen and I put together my cauliflower for dinner. And while I was doing that, I realized that Ronald and Huxtable don't go together as well as Robert and Huxtable. So we have our alliteration for Richie and Robert Huxtable goes together better. So we're going to go with that. Um, and I did look up like popular junk food names. I really wanted this to be a drink. The only thing that he will eat is pretzel sticks and lemonade or something like that. But I could not find a good drink that, other than like, cold sweet tea or something. But I couldn't find. There's probably something staring me right in the face, and I can't think of it. Like, I would love a specific drink, like Diet Coke, or isn't there something called Pepsi Free? Oh, is there something called Pepsi Free? Hold on. Or is it Coke Free? That's Coke Zero. Okay, there was something called Pepsi Free like 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 some odd years ago, a while ago. I guess that's not a thing anyway. And then the other one's Coke Zero. I guess not. All right, so here's what we're gonna do: is pretzel sticks and squeezy cheese. I could have said cheddar cheese, but this is funnier to me. We're gonna spell it with a Z because that's the junk food way. I'm pretty sure. Okay. In order for him to become a pretzel statue, he's going to have to just eat tons and tons of pretzels. Richie Robert Huxtable will not eat a vegetable. No zucchini, no tomato, never tried a mashed potato. That's the one I can't get over. Pretzels make him gag on sight. He refuses out of spite. I could put one in here. Refuses boop boop. Refuses broccoli. Still funny because we still have the spite, but we're adding another vegetable he won't eat. And is that how you spell broccoli? It's two C's, I think. There we go. We did it. I would have rather said beets or something else, but I don't know. We'll go back later and see if we can fancy up any of these vegetables. All right, there we squeezed in an extra vegetable. Now we got zucchini, tomato, potato, carrot, broccoli. We hit all the big ones, I think. Gave some specific illnesses. Pretzel sticks and squeezy cheese. All right. This is not going to happen, guys. We're just going to have to give up on that one. Richie Robert Huxtable will not eat a vegetable. No zucchini, no tomato, never tried a mashed potato. Carrots make him gag on sight. Carrots make him gag on sight. Refuses broccoli out of spite. Won't eat fruit just to be safe. He'd rather eat old birthday cake. His eyes are weak, can't see at night. He's lost 6 inches off his height. Gets tummy aches and muscle cramps. Was mistaken for his gramps. He's too weak to tie his shoe. A month-long battle with the flu. The only thing that he will eat. We could say eggplant instead of broccoli, so it's not so predictable. Know what I mean? Know what I mean, Vern? We don't have to decide that right this second. Focus. All right, the only thing that he will eat is pretzel sticks and squeezy cheese. Pretzel. I don't even know if pretzel bagel's a thing. Pretzel bagel. Pretzel toast. Pretzel bagel, pretzel bagel, pretzel toast. And for lunch, it's pretzel roast. Pretzel bagel, pretzel toast, and for lunch it's pretzel toast. What am I saying? Pretzel roast. Do I want pretzel mush? That sounds awful. Pretzel bagel, pretzel toast, and for lunch it's pretzel roast. Pretzel mush right after school. Pretzel. I was going to say it's pretzel something by the pool, but does that feel too predictable? Do we need to worry about being predictable? I guess we could say pretzel mush, right? And for lunch it's pretzel roast. Pretzel mush. That's a weird thing to say. Pretzel mush in between his classes. Uh-oh, what are we going to rhyme with classes? Pretzel mush right after school. Can I say pretzel cue stick when he shoots pool? Probably not. Pretzel cue stick when he pretzel cue when he shoots pool. Pretzel mush right after school. Pretzel bagel, pretzel toast, and for lunch it's pretzel roast, pretzel mush right after school. Pretzel bagel, pretzel toast, and for lunch it's pretzel roast, pretzel mush. Right after school. Pretzel mush right after school. Followed up by pretzel, and I'm going to spell this word wrong. Gruel? Is that a word? Did I spell that right? Pretzel mush right after class, followed up by pretzel. I feel kind of bad cheating with the mush and the gruel. If we switch this one, pretzel mush right after school, followed up by pretzel gruel. Pretzel pie right after school, followed up by pretzel gruel. I'll take it. Gruel's funny to me. It's pretzel sticks and squeezy cheese, pretzel bagel, pretzel toast, and for lunch it's pretzel roast. Pretzel pie right after school, followed up by pretzel gruel. I think I could spell pretzel by now. His lips were caked in pretzel dust. His joints were... His lips were caked in pretzel dust. His arms and legs began to rust. Ooh, we could say his lips were caked in pretzel dust. His arms and legs began to rust. Something felt like tin because he had no vitamin. Yeah, maybe? Can we? We're going to bring those vitamins back, people. Or vitamins, as our British friends would say. His lips were caked in pretzel dust. His arms and legs began to rust. His body moved like... I want to say rust. Does tin rust? His body moved like... Oh, man. The only thing that he will eat is pretzel sticks and squeezy cheese. Pretzel bagel, pretzel toast, and for lunch it's pretzel roast. Pretzel pie right after school, followed up by pretzel gruel. His lips were caked in pretzel dust. Do we need a better transition there? Followed up by pretzel gruel. Lips were caked in pretzel dust. Began to rust. His muscles felt like crumpled tin because he had no vitamin. All it took was one last stick and he was all it took was one last stick till Richie was full of it. All it took was one last stick for Richie to be full of it. For Richie to be full of it. Filled to his hair with pretzel goo. I don't know. I don't know where we're going, guys. I don't know where we're going here. Pretzel pie right after school, followed up by pretzel gruel. His lips were caked in pretzel dust. His arms and legs began to rust. His muscles felt like crumpled tin because he had no vitamins. All it took was one last stick for Richie to be full of it. Filled to Richie to be filled. Richie to be full of it. Filled to his hair with pretzel goo. He became a I need a one word here. He became a blank statue. But I also want that word to be pretzel, which is two. Fill two his hair with pretzel goo. Fill to his hair felt weird. Fill two his toes with pretzel goo. Transformed into I've got to call him pretzel statue, right? Filled for Richie to be full of it. All it took was one last stick for Richie to be full of it. I really want to use the word statue. All it took was one last stick for Richie to be full of it. Remember, nothing's written in stone. We can change any of these. For Richie to be full of it. We got a nice little jaunt there in the middle, and now we're back to thinking. Because he had no vitamins. And when he took that fateful bite, his lips were caked in pretzel dust. His arms and legs began to rust. His muscles felt like crumpled tin because he had no vitamins. And then he took the final bite. And then he took the final bite that sealed his fate and locked him tight. He was so full of pretzel goo. He was so full of pretzel goo. Pretzel tattoo. Pretzel statue. Maybe we should give him a pretzel tattoo. And then he took the final bite that sealed his fate and locked him tight. He was so full of pretzel goo. I think it's pretzel statue. It needs to be one word before, like bloop statue. He was so full of pretzel goo. He froze into a snack statue, right? I wanted to say pretzel statue. Froze into a... Is there another word for pretzel? I mean, you'd think I would have figured that out by now. Nope. All right. Richie Robert Huxtable will not eat a vegetable, no zucchini, no tomato, never tried a mashed potato. Carrots make him gag on sight, refuses broccoli out of spite. Won't eat fruit just to be safe. He'd rather eat old birthday cake. His eyes are weak, can't see at night. He's lost 6 inches off his height. Gets tummy aches and muscle cramps. Was mistaken for his gramps. He's too weak to tie his shoes. A month-long battle with the flu. The only thing that he will eat is pretzel sticks and squeezy cheese. We're going to have to fix that. Pretzel bagel, pretzel toast, and for lunch it's pretzel roast, pretzel pie right after school, followed up by pretzel gruel. His lips were caked in pretzel dust. His arms and legs began to rust. His muscles felt like crumpled tin because he had no vitamins. And then he took the final bite that sealed his fate and locked him tight. He was so full of pretzel goo, he froze into a snack statue made of completely made of pretzel stick. He froze into a snack statue completely made of pretzel stick. Can we say like we put him in a park somewhere? I mean, we're really not. We're really cruising this right along, aren't we? So full of pretzel goo, he froze into a snack statue completely made of pretzel stick. We could say completely made of pretzel snacks. Something, something, his own plaque. Although I think it'd be funnier if he just froze and the story is the birds came and took him away. If we give him a plaque, then it seems like the birds don't come and take him away, and I think it's funnier if the birds do. Completely made of pretzel stick. Was so full of pretzel goo, he froze into a snack statue. Completely made of pretzel. Completely made of pretzel shards. Is that? We propped him up in our front yard. It only took an afternoon for birds to This is terrible. He was so full of pretzel goo, he froze into a snack statue, completely made of pretzel shards. We propped him up in our front yard. It only took, this could be anything. It only took a day and a half. A half a day for birds to nibble him away. Oh, gotta go flip my cauliflower. Hello, my burritos. Welcome, welcome. It only took a half a day for birds to nibble him away. Do I want to say birds to carry him away, or I want to say nibble? It only took a half a day for birds to nibble him away. And how we blah, 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 blah. What's this guy's name? Guys. Yeah, it should be eaten. But yeah, we're going to go with 8 because you know why? Sometimes we write how people talk and not proper grammar. What do we got down here? All right, guys, this is always my favorite part. This did not exist an hour, 2 hours, however long we've been writing. This did not exist. Come on, Google Docs, work with me here. All right, we'll deal with that later, I guess. Oh, this is the problem. Okay. Yeah, the reason I don't like this is because we say squeezy cheese and then never mention it again. So I gotta fix that. Richie Robert Huxtable will not eat a vegetable. No zucchini, no tomato, never tried a mashed potato. Carrots make him gag on sight, refuses broccoli out of spite. Won't eat fruit just to be safe, he'd rather eat old birthday cake. His eyes are weak, can't see at night, he's lost 6 inches off his height. Gets tummy aches and muscle cramps, was mistaken for his cramps. He's too weak to tie his shoe, a month-long battle with the flu. The only thing that he will eat is pretzel sticks and squeezy cheese. Pretzel bagel, pretzel toast, and for lunch it's pretzel roast. Pretzel pie right after school, followed up by pretzel gruel. His lips were caked in pretzel dust, his arms and legs began to rust, his muscles felt like crumpled tin because he had no vitamins. And then he took the final bite that sealed his fate and locked him tight. He was so full of pretzel goo he froze into a snack statue. It was so full of pretzel goo. He was so full of pretzel goo he froze into a snack statue. Completely made of pretzel shards, we propped him up in our front yard. It only took a half a day for birds to nibble him away. And how we cried, Rich Huxtable, you should have ate your vegetables. Not too bad. Gotta fix squeezy cheese. But you know what? Editing is more fun if we come at it with fresh eyes. So we're going to put this on hold for now, and we'll come back and take another look at it probably tomorrow and do some editing. Nice work, guys. We had no idea what we were going to write when we started, and it's got promise. Got a couple spots I want to polish up, but like I don't like the transition here. Feels a little abrupt. But we'll see. We're going to look at it tomorrow. Nice work. Hello, my little burritos. Welcome, welcome. So, the last time we worked on this, we got done and I said, I'm going to come back and look at it with fresh eyes. Which is the way you should do it. You should write your first draft and let it sit and come back and look at it the next day or the next week with some fresh eyes. But it is really hard for me to put it down when it's not done. And I'll just like keep nitpicking at it. So that's what I did. After I said, I'm going to come back tomorrow, guys, and I stopped recording, I kept poking at it. So without you, I made some changes. So the first thing I did was change the last name. Huxtable's kind of a slightly problematic name. So we're going to go with Richie Robert Wessable, which is a totally made up name. Never heard the name. I've heard Wesselman and Wessel, but we're going with Wessable. Richie Robert Wessable will not eat a vegetable. I think it should say would not eat a vegetable. I think it should all be past tense, which I actually just decided now. So we'll have to go through and change the tense of everything. So Richie Robert Wessable would not eat a vegetable. No, never. Nope. Carrots made him. Gag on sight. Refused. Ooh, this is tricky because I need the refuses to make 2 syllables, but refused is 1. Refused broccoli out of spite. Carrots made him gag on sight. Refused broccoli out of sight. Refuses broccoli out of sight. I would have preferred it be refuses. Wouldn't. Oh, man. All right, forget it. We're going back. We are allowed to. Will not eat a vegetable. No zucchini, tomato. Never tried a mashed potato. Carrots make him. We're allowed to change tense halfway through. As long as we're not bouncing back and forth, I think we'll be okay. He'd rather eat old birthday cake. His eyes are weak, can't see at night. He lost 6 inches off his height. Gets tummy aches and muscle cramps. Oh, I forgot. I'm supposed to be telling you guys the edits I made. I don't think I did anything here. Oh, I did change this line. I actually have the other copy right here. Can't fight off this season's flu. He's too weak to tie his shoe. Can't fight off this season's flu. Just flows better. And also, I didn't like that it said, it just was kind of sitting there. It wasn't saying like he can't fight it off, or it just said a month-long battle with the flu. Not he's had a month-long battle, so it was kind of weird. The only thing that he is pretzel sticks. This one, tripped me up. This cracks me up, though. Because the dude won't eat vegetables, but he does, but he also can't have gluten. I think I did. This is all exactly the same. The only and we're going to change the ending. This is a little too, I don't like to have and that's why you should eat your vegetables. So it only took a half a day for birds to nibble him away. I changed it to, and while it all was truly dreadful afterward, we had a pretzel, which I think we can all agree is much funnier. And while it all was truly dreadful afterward, we had a pretzel. I think those are all the changes I made. Sorry that you guys weren't here to watch, but like I said, I just kept nitpicking at it. This is a much better ending. A couple things I'm not in love with. This is an AABB rhyme structure, which is not always my favorite because it feels a little simplistic, but I think if you do it right, it can work. I wouldn't want to do it all the time. But one thing that I've done here, usually it goes AABB and that completes a thought, that completes a pattern. So Richie Robert Wessable will not eat a vegetable. No zucchini, no tomato, never tried a mashed potato. So not only do they go together rhyme scheme-wise, they go together rhythm-wise, but they also go together thought-wise. Like this completes a sentence, this completes a thought, this completes a thought, this completes a thought, so on and so forth. So even here, we have eyes, can't see at night, lost 6 inches, tummy aches, mistaken for his gramps. We have 6 lines of physical issues he's having, broken up into 3 pairs of 2. So when you have that AABB rhyme structure, the A's go together rhythmically, they rhyme, they complete a thought, they're together thematically. But down here, I changed it. He was so full of pretzel goo, he froze into a snack statue. And when I wrote this, I thought of it as he's completely made of pretzel shards and we propped him up in our front yard. But that's actually not what happened. These 3 are going together. He's so full of pretzel goo, he's turning himself into a statue that's completely made of pretzel shards. And then these three go together. We propped him up in our front yard, and it only took a half a day for birds to eat him, which is hilarious to me. So I don't know that I've ever done this before, where I've split an AABB rhyme structure, where I've kept the rhyme, but I guess they're together rhythmically, but they really do, I really did split it up here. Which isn't necessarily bad, it's just interesting. And you could read it as, he was so full of pretzel goo, he froze into a snack statue. Completely made of pretzel shards, we propped him up in our front yard. But you know that I don't like rhyme speak. And this is, if you read these two together, it's sort of rhyme speak. It's not rhyme speak when you do it here. He froze into a snack statue completely made of pretzel shards. We propped him up in our front yard. It only took a half a day. It's going to be interesting how I read it. Which is one of the many benefits of publishing my work on social media, because I control how it goes out, as opposed to printing it and publishing it in a book and then having other people read it. It's one of the weird things about, if you're a songwriter, you can really play with your rhythm and meter because that song is going out as a, who just downloads the lyrics to a song and then is like, I'll sing these words with the music. No, the singer is showing you how the words should be sung, what should be dragged out, where it should be emphasized, and that is now part of the art of the song. It's part of the music. But when you write poetry, none of that is true. Which is why I try to be such a stickler about writing how people speak, so that when people who are not me, who've never heard me read it, when they're reading this either to themselves or to their kids or just sharing it with somebody, it still has that rhythm and meter and it rhymes and it still sounds like there's a melody there, even when someone who isn't part of my thought process is reading it. You can't do that if you are trusting someone to drag out a syllable or mispronounce a word in a way that makes it rhyme with something later. You can't do that if you're writing poetry and putting it out into a book. Now, like I said, the fact that I am reading it to put it on social media gives me some control over that, but it's still, you can still just download the poem and still have it. So that's why I'm so particular about writing in the same way that people speak, and I'm real futzy about the rhythm and meter, because I want it to have that bouncy feel when anyone reads it. So as long as you can read and pronounce the words correctly, it should sound good when you read it, which is why I'm really hemming and hawing over this, because I shouldn't have to read it in a funny way to make it make sense. So I might have to read through this a few times out loud to make sure that these will work for anyone who reads it. That was a very long soapbox rant that you had to listen to. All right, let's see what we got here. Richie Robert Wessable will not eat a vegetable. No zucchini, no tomato, never tried a mashed potato. Carrots make him gag on sight, refuses broccoli out of spite. Won't eat fruit just to be safe, he'd rather eat old birthday cake. His eyes are weak, can't see at night, he's lost 6 inches off his height. Gets tummy aches and muscle cramps, was mistaken for it. Actually, I think this is you don't need an apostrophe there, that's a word, I think. Yeah, because we're not shortening mistaking, he was mistaken. Was mistaken for his cramps, he's too weak to tie his shoe, can't fight off this season's flu. Much better, guys. The only thing that he will eat is pretzel sticks, but gluten-free. Pretzel bagel, pretzel toast, and for lunch it's pretzel roast, pretzel pie right after school, followed up by pretzel gruel. His lips were caked in pretzel dust, his arms and legs began to rust. His muscles felt like crumpled tin because he had no vitamins. And then he took the final bite that sealed his fate and locked him tight. He was so full of pretzel goo he froze into a snack statue. Completely made of pretzel shards, we propped him up in our front yard. Yeah, I don't know about that. And then he took his final bite that sealed his fate and locked him tight. Huh. All right, let's preserve this. And maybe just get rid of this and say, in 2 lines, how do we say he froze into a statue made of pretzels? And then we maybe can make this into 2 lines, like we propped him up in our front yard. That sealed his fate and locked him tight. Sorry. I wrote a poem about one of my friend's kids, and I'm going to publish it on his birthday. And I just sent it to his mom to be like, it's done. And she wrote me back about it, and I forgot that I was writing. Okay, so we want to say that that sealed his fate and locked him tight, and now he is the pretzel man, the pretzel statue. Something, something. Is there a word? Can we make statue rhyme with like putting him in a front yard, or make front yard into? All right, what rhymes with statue that also is yard? So I need another word for statue or another word for yard. All right, you're in the thesaurus. And I need another word for, oh, you guys thought we were done, didn't you? So did I. All right, sculpture, figure, effigy, statuette, figurine, idol, carving, bronze. Statue really was the best one, guys. So, my brain is a little mushy today. We're going to head on over to our rhyming dictionary, which I do use sometimes, but I actually use the thesaurus way more often. Did you know that not every language has a thesaurus? I think that's wild. All right. I'm just reading through the rhyming dictionary to see what we have that could also be a yard. Is it really that bad? One thing I also don't like about it is it took his final bite that sealed his fate and locked him tight. And then the next line is he's so full of pretzel goo he froze into a snack statue. It feels a little redundant. Ooh, we could say, that's a little fast though. I was going to say we could say he took the And then he took the final, and then he gave one last chew. And nah, that feels forced. Chew statue, that feels forced. All right, then he took the final bite that sealed his fate and locked him tight. He turned into a okay, we could say yard or lawn, and I think they both have a, he turned into the pretzel prawn. We propped him up on our front lawn. We're not going to say that. Sealed his fate and locked him tight. And then he took the final bite that sealed his fate and locked him tight. He turned into a snack statue. Then he took the final bite that sealed his fate and locked him tight. Maybe we're going about this wrong. Let's look up what else rhymes with yard and or lawn. And then he took the final bite that sealed his fate and locked him tight. Who knew we could put this much work into a man who won't eat vegetables? Took the final bite, sealed his fate, and locked him tight. I could say pretzels congealed and turned into a salty, crispy snack statue. The pretzels sealed his fate and locked. The pretzels gelled. Is that how you spell gelled? That can't be right. 2 L's? The pretzels gelled. And he turned to. And he turned to. Can't spell turned either. Oh boy. We are writers, guys. All right. This is better. Because his muscles felt like crumpled tin because he had no vitamins. And then he took the final bite that sealed his fate and locked him tight. The pretzels gelled and he turned to a salty, crispy snack statue. Now, that is better, guys, because we get to say salty, crispy. All right, so now I just need a way to say that he's a statue and we put him out in our lawn, our yard, our stoop. Can we say stoop? I'll say a stoop. The sealed his fate and locked him tight. The pretzels gelled and he turned to a salty, crispy snack statue. Okay. What logically, because logic's what we're using here, guys. What logically bridges from, oh man, he's turned into a statue? Like, this line has to be like, well, we didn't know what else to do. I mean, he's a pretzel statue, so like, what do we do? Like, we something, a salty, crispy snack statue, or alternatively, the next line could be, we propped him up in our front yard. Something, something really hard. So it could be either way. It could be a line before or after. Salty, crispy snack. That's already better, guys. Salty, crispy snack statue. Pretzels gelled and he turned to a salty, crispy snack statue. All right, what we should not say is that we propped him up in our front yard and then had to like resist breaking off a piece to snack. Like, we should not say that, guys. Don't say that. All right, thesaurus time. All right, thesaurus for lawn. We could say backyard. Oh, we could say garden. A salty, crispy snack statue. Pretzels gelled and he turned to a salty, crispy snack statue. We knocked and we could, I don't want to say and then he's gone. That feels too. And that we propped him up on our front lawn, a salty, crispy snack statue. We propped him up in our front yard. The pretzels gelled and he turned to a salty, crispy snack statue. We propped him up in our front yard. Well, patio. Want to rhyme a word with patio? We named our statue Daddy-O and propped him up on top our patio. No? You guys don't like that one? Weird. I don't love garden, but we're gonna play around with garden. Pretzels gelled and he turned too. A salty, crispy snack statue. We propped him up on our front lawn. I keep coming back to saying he's gone, but I don't want to say that because it just feels way too like. I'm just picturing a kid being like, "What do you mean he's gone?" Kids are funny because they'll read like the dude's turned into a pretzel statue. The birds eat him and take him away, but kids still aren't like, well, and then he died. They're just like it's just funny. They don't. It's not like no. At no point are you like, and then he's gone. So I don't want to say that. Put him up on our front lawn. The problem is I don't even know what I want to say necessarily. Propped him up in. I'm just thinking. We could say salty, crispy snack statue. We wrapped him up in our family tartan and stuck him out in the garden, except after I did Chameleon Queen, I swore I was never going to mention a tartan again because I did not enjoy painting it. And while I don't like to have the illustration influence what we write here, like I don't want to ever be like, I can't paint that, so I can't write it. I don't ever want to say that. If we can avoid saying tartan or plaid, I'd love it because or I'm just not going to paint it because I did not like painting that. It's more math than I wanted to do. I really thought this was going to be like I was like, ooh, I'm going to do this real quick and then I'll be done. But nope, now that we're in here. I mean, it's better. It's much better. Maybe I should take my own advice and we should give this a rest. All right, let's give it a rest and we'll come back later. Oh, my little burritos, welcome, welcome. This is why we do it. This is why we do it, you guys. You guys, I love this. The pretzels gelled and he turned too was salty, crispy snack statue with cracker bones and hardened skin. We propped him up in our garden. It only took a half a day for birds to nibble him away, and while it all was truly dreadful, afterward we had a pretzel. Cracker bones. This is disturbing. Like, this might be the darkest thing I've ever written. More than JFK not liking convertibles. More than Garfield thinking washing hands is pesky. More than Abe Lincoln writing go see a play on his to-do list. There is something like disturbing about saying cracker bones. I love this. You guys, this didn't exist a couple days ago. And now, little Richie Robert Wessable is out in the world with his cracker bones. Well, actually, he's out in the world via birds, but you know what I mean. And the edits we made. Okay, go back in time and watch the first one, or maybe the first couple. The first three was the first version, and then we had to do the edits. That's what it was. Read the first version where we did the edits and then come back and look at this. This is so much better. We made the ending, which is infinitely better than what we had. I don't know who wrote that first ending, but it was not good. And then we rewrote this little ditty in the middle. This is nice. That's nice. We made a few tweaks up here, but let's be honest, this was the bulk of. Nice. Guys, high fives all around. You did great work.